When you act in a more open-minded, imaginative way, you become attractive, okay? You become attractive, you become magnetic, and you're able to sort of blur the line between work and play. People want to be around you. Whatever we focus on will grow. So for us, we had nothing when we started except optimism, except that idea that really is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we started selling in 1989, and we actually traveled and lived in a van for 5.5 years. We didn't get into the clothing business because we love clothing. To be honest with you, I don't really, I didn't care about clothing then. I don't really care about it today. But clothing is a vehicle for a message. So we wondered, what if we could create a hero, a symbol of optimism and open-mindedness, a hero whose power was his optimism. And because he believed he could do anything, he could do anything. So my brother drew the first Jake. We printed 4 dozen T-shirts, and we got out in the street in Cambridge. And we sold the T-shirts in 45 minutes. 48 T-shirts, big deal, but we'd been selling T-shirts for 5.5 years, and we never saw anything like this. We had no idea what to do with it. It scared the shit out of us. We saw it, 48 shirts gone, but people say, when did you know? We knew the first day, the very first day we were looking at, we knew that our culture was starving for positive information, starving to celebrate, starving to play, starving to blur the line between work and play. So the business starts to grow. And it grows from 87,000 to 3 million in, 6 years. At the same time, the next life-changing thing happened to us. We met Lindsay Beggin. Lindsay was 11 years old, and she was diagnosed with terminal bone cancer. And the doctors, and she was written about in the Boston Globe. She was wearing a Life is Good t-shirt in the picture. And the guy said, "Do you understand your prognosis?" And she said, "Yes, the doctors say I'm not going to live another year." And they said, "Do you mind," the writer said, "Do you mind if I ask you why you're wearing a shirt that says life is good?" And she said, in a way only a child could say, very matter-of-factly, "Yes, because before I was sick, I took my life for granted. But now that I might not live as long, I just want to make sure every day counts." And my brother and I read that and were so blown away that instead of spending the money on an ad campaign, we did the obvious thing. We had a pumpkin festival. No-brainer. I know you knew where I was going. So the thing raised $80,000. One day, doing a bunch of nonsense, it raised $80,000. And for us, the amazing thing was it felt really good. Selfishly, it felt really good. So we didn't know if we were doing the right thing or not, but it felt good. The next year, people dedicated pumpkins to someone they loved who was facing some tremendous adversity. And we didn't create that. And then all of a sudden, half the pumpkin festival was hearts like this. And all the newspapers wrote about it. And so in 2006, we broke the Guinness World Record for the most lit pumpkins in one place at one time. This is on the Boston Common. It's 31,000 carved pumpkins. And we didn't carve them. 200,000 people showed up and carved pumpkins. 200,000. We raised over $500,000 that night on the Boston Common. Along the way, we met a guy named Steve Gross, and Steve Gross started an organization called Project Joy. And he essentially taught us that a child that faces severe violence or severe poverty is not unlike a child that faces what Lindsay faced with cancer. If it's going to threaten a young child's life, what's the difference? So we started working with Steve's organization and getting in the worst neighborhoods in America. And then we started getting outside America. Today we have programs in Haiti, etc. We trained every child care provider in the Mississippi Delta after the storms, and we still work with them. We created a play therapy program with Steve, and now we've taken that organization into Life is Good, and we rebranded it, and we now call it Life is Good Playmakers. What we saw Steve doing was exactly what we try to do every day, spread the power of optimism. He was just focused on children that are extremely vulnerable. So we didn't know if the Pumpkin Festival or other festivals we've had were really going to do the right thing for the organization, but they felt good, and we were acting with our heart. So we have to make decisions based on data, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we have to have science as an element to our approach. But if you've ever been running with a dog, dogs run better than us. They run better than us because they're not thinking about their BlackBerry or their iPhone. They're just running, nothing else. And so when we were having those pumpkin festivals after we met Lindsay, we were just running like a dog. A dog is, just happy, just nothing else. It's just doing its thing. So don't be afraid, I think, to do your thing, whether it makes perfect sense or not. There's an element of that that's really important. What happened to us is we continued to do our thing, and we've never used any traditional advertising. And I don't know what those consultants would say today, but the consumers took control of our organization. They really did, and the consumers have control over all of our organizations. We don't build brands. There's nobody in this room that's capable of building a brand. Customers build brands, and customers have built our brand because they see authenticity in what we're doing. We really feel like we're just getting started now. We're very unsophisticated compared to so many of you in this organization, but we're gaining more sophistication and bringing people in who are helping to build our brand. But consumers will continue to build it on the social side as well as the capitalistic side. That's it for me. I'm sorry, it looks like I went 3 minutes over. I appreciate it very much, and in the words of Bob Dylan, may we all stay forever young.
Incredible. It's your thing.